Good morning, Sindahan National High School. Good morning, grade 11 ABM meal. How are you today? Are you still fine? What are you doing? Uh-huh. Okay, thank you for your response. So this morning, we're going to start with a new topic, and that is the qualitative research design. But beforehand, let us first learn the content standard, performance standards, learning competency, and the most essential learnings competency of this topic. So the content is understanding data and ways to systematically collect data. Yes, Mr. Bio, the content standard. And that is the learner demonstrate understanding of qualitative research design. How about you, Miss Pakulba? Okay, that is the learner is able to describe qualitative research designs, sample, and data collection and analysis procedures. Moving forward, the learning competency is the learner chooses appropriate qualitative research designs, and lastly, we have the MELTS, or the most essential learning competency skills, is that it chooses appropriate qualitative research design. That is CSRS 11 4A-C-1. So what are the sub-competencies for this topic? That is to, first, to explain the appropriate qualitative research design. Second, to examine the appropriate qualitative research design. And third, and that is to choose the appropriate qualitative research design. Are we good? Okay. Moving forward, we have the elicitation. Are you interested in this part? Okay. So, the direction is that, all together, can you read the direction? We have to choose an appropriate research design based on the following research topics. So using the following listed research design, you're going to choose in a given statement if it is either historical research, case study, narrative inquiry, ethnographic research, participatory action research, ethnography, and lastly we have the phenomenology. Let's move on. The first one, we call on Miss Bhakti. Okay, the cultural practices of Yakan and Zamboanga del Norte. What do you think is the correct answer for this one? Okay, let's give Miss Bhakti a round of applause. The correct answer for this one is, that is the ethnography. Okay, number 2, success story of an entrepreneur. Okay, how about you, Mr. Baguio? Okay, what do you think is the correct answer for this one? Do you think that Mr. Baguio got the correct answer? Okay, how about you, Mr. Corellino? Can you help? Okay, that's correct. A round of applause, please. Okay, success story of an entrepreneur belongs to a case study. Case study, or either be a narrative inquiry if it is being detailed based on experiences. Number 3, the way of life of the Sabanes, their folkways, and more. Okay, how about you, Miss Bulanon? Okay, the correct answer for this one is phenomenology. Next, we have the fears and anxieties of teenagers. How about this one? Yes, Miss Pactol. Okay, that's the correct answer also. And lastly, we have the agriculture of the prehistoric period. Prehistoric period is the keyword for this one, guys. Okay, can we help Mr. Matan? Okay, that's correct. That is historical research. A round of applause, please. Thank you. Let's move on. The next part is the engagement. So, in this portion, I'm going to give you or show you a video presentation. All you need to do is you're going to watch the video presentation. Please remain silent and continue on watching the video. Okay? And answer the following questions right after. Okay, so let's start.
Number 1. Why alcohol consumption is common among Marxists in India? Number 2. A case study of France after student attack on teacher. Number 3. A comparative study of blasphemy, Muslim perspective, and West's concept of freedom of expression. Number 4. A sociological study of factor which involves young girls towards drug addiction. Number 5. Global warming and future of agriculture in Philippines. Number 6. A economic study of inflation in Pakistan during PTI government. Number 7. Why scholars in Pakistan does not complete their MPhil and PhD degrees timely. Number 8. A study of cultural events which encourage to celebrators for drug usage in Hindu religion. Number 9. Child abuse of child labor at coal mines in Afghanistan. Number 10. Harassment and bullying on social media and role of cybercrime department in Malaysia. Number 11. Study of late marriages and sexual satisfaction in Ethiopia. Number 12. Challenges to control poliovirus disease in Pakistan and Afghanistan. Number 13. Role of NGOs for empowerment of women in Bangladesh. Number 14. Challenges for married women to continue higher education in Balochistan, Pakistan. Number 15. Why UNO afraid to conduct referendums in disputed regions. Number 16. Discrimination among black skin and white skin in America, a reality or myth. Number 17. A study of Chinese rehabilitation centers and human rights violation against Muslims. Number 18. Will China's Project Belt Road Initiative challenge dominancy of United States in the region? Number 19. Online classes, satisfaction of teachers, students and parents. Number 20. Impacts of Arab-Israel normalization on the world.
So the writer or the presenter of that video is a Hindu. So as expected, they're quite not familiar in speaking in English or fluent in speaking in English. So let us not judge those people, okay? So that's the different research topics. So are you interested in that content? How do you feel right after watching it? Yes, Miss Patol. Okay, thank you. So the guide questions are as follows. The first question is, what research topic or study would you like to work out? Okay, how about you, Mr. Andos? Okay, let's give Mr. Andos a round of applause, please. Meaning to say each of one of us has its own interest in the area of specialization, the field of discipline you want to work on. The second one, why do you like to work on that topic? Yes? How about you, Mr. Abe? Okay. The last one, what do you think is the appropriate research science to be used in your study? Yes? I may call on Ms. Putong. Okay, thank you. Let's now move on with the exploration. Okay, so this is your task. Can you read all together? 1, 2, ready? Read. Okay. Using any kind of drawing material, so you can localize a disc, a wood, a stick, a metal scrap, a plastic, or any other recyclable materials you get or draw out from your environment or surrounding. Design a blueprint of the house. Are you familiar with a blueprint? That is a plan, di ba? If you're planning to build a house, you have a plan or a sketch plan on what design you wanted to put up or to mark with your house. You would like to build in the near future. Make sure that you place labels and measurements and answer the questions that follow. So this, the creativity of yours will sink in. So you can localize and adapt the art of making your or drafting your own blueprint. Okay, so the rubrics criteria for assessment are as follows. Originality, first. Second, we have creativity or resourcefulness. Third is teamwork. Fourth is timeliness. So the 5 points earned are as follows. When show is unique, does not look like others. Second, yes. Thank you. Shows creativity that works, it just not word, but exciting and fresh. Third, all members work well together, all the time assist others when needed. Lastly, completes assigned or required work during time. So the perfect score 8 to 10 is outstanding. We have 7, 5 to 7 is very satisfactory, and 1 to 4 is there. Okay. So another question, what do you think is the importance of a blueprint in building a house? Okay. Then what could possibly happen to a house constructed without blueprints? They are interchangeable. The answers are interchangeable. Diba? Okay. So, now, let's break the monotony. Let's proceed with monotony. We have to see the explanation. So, the guide questions, what is qualitative research topic? So, that is the connection from the first topic or content that we discussed. We talk about the design in particular. Now, we are integrating it in qualitative research design. The second one, altogether please. Why is it important to choose a research design in a research paper? And lastly, how does a researcher choose a research design in a qualitative research? So do you have any other queries or problem with regards to this topic? Okay, let's move on. Introduction. The research methodology discusses the steps and procedures that you will use in conducting your research. This includes explaining the type of research technique you will adopt in your study, how will you get data for the study, and whom or where you will get the data from, and how will you analyze the data that you will gather. All of these questions are vital before we are going to proceed with a certain research study. Okay. Specifically, research design describes a specific research approach you will use in a study. This can be ethnography, case study, historical, phenomenological, and the like. It is dependent on the purpose of the study and the set of specific research questions you have formulated. Okay. Qualitative research design is an umbrella term for various range of approaches. Okay, can you read all together? Okay, thank you. Moving forward, characteristics of qualitative research. Yes, how about you, Mr. Inohardo? Okay, thank you. The qualitative research design features. Yes. Mr. Gumaba. Okay, thank you. A round of applause, please. The different types of qualitative research design are as follows. The first is ethnographic research. There are two types of ethnographic research, namely known as microethnography and macroethnography. When we entails macroethnography, it focuses on this specific given general culture. For example, if you want to study the culture of the Filipino in terms of their customs or certain traditions. The second one is microethnography. It is a more specific one compared to macroethnography. For example, if you want to be more in detail, or you have to conduct an in-depth investigation on how a certain Filipino, to be more specific, a Subanen Filipino people will try to practice their own culture in terms of their dress code. When they are facilitating a certain kind of festival. So that is a microethnography. Ethnographic research studies the culture of one group or individuals through an in-depth investigation. Okay. Next, advantages and disadvantages of ethnographic research. Yes, let me call on Miss Ruiz. Okay, thank you. How about the examples of research titles? The examples of research titles are as follows. A balikbayan in the field, scaling and reproducing insiders' identity in a Philippine fishing community. The second one, the kinship of everyday need, relatedness, and survival in the Philippine fishing community. The third, bagong silang community and ethnographic study of strategies of survival. And lastly, a story of high school inclusion and ethnographic case study. So based on the following research title, you can see that there is a common goal of obtaining or determining the certain specific culture or norms. The second one is historical research. Historical research, yes, Miss Donaire. Okay, can you read please? Okay, so it is more focused on studying the past events in order to have the best decision in the nearest future. That's very good. Okay. So this is the following questions that we are going to address when we are conducting a historical research. Accordingly, there are two types of historical research. The first one is bibliographic historical research, and the second one is intellectual historical research. When we are talking about bibliographic historical research, it focuses on the works or contribution of a specific historian. Well, second one, intellectual historical research, it focuses on the content itself. For example, if you want to study the book of Karl Marx, then the content of Karl Marx's book that entails or focuses on the second type of historical research known as, yes, Ms. Silvano, that is the second one, intellectual historical research. How about the advantages and disadvantages of historical research? Yes, let me call on Miss Tuanda. Okay. Thank you, Miss Tuanda, for your participation. Okay. So how about the disadvantages? All together, please. Okay, that's good. Moving forward, so these are the following examples of research titles under the second type of research, qualitative research design, namely known as the historical research. So the first one is the agriculture of the prehistoric period, its contribution to the modern ways of farming. So based on the prehistoric period, they used or utilized sharp stones, sharp bricks, or wooden sticks in order to cultivate the soil. Diba? In the field of agriculture, today, we are now using a modern way of cultivating the soil. For example, we are going to use a tractor, electric or a motorized tractor in order to cultivate the soil and any other materials. But before, they utilized the prehistoric ways. The second one is the origin and implications of Alibatas, the earliest Filipino alphabet. Are you familiar with this one? The Alibata. Not quite heard. Maybe some. Not. Okay? So, the Alibata is the earliest Filipino alphabet. The Filipino during that time will try to carve or write in the trees, the bark of the trees, or any other materials that you're going to write. And they utilize the inscription in order to have their own alphabet. Okay? So, the implications for Alibata is that before any other colonization here in our country began, specifically in the Philippines, the American, the Japanese, or the Spaniards came here in our country, we have this civilization of the earliest Filipino in terms of their alphabet. And that is known as the Alibata. Third, the development and training methodologies of Carabao, following a system method of rice farming. Have you ever seen a carabao being utilized in the rice field? They are used in flowing the rice, diba? Okay. The last one is the enlightened absolutism. Its reform and effects in the field of public safety. How about the third one? The case study. Yes. Yes, Mr. Balingit. Okay. Case study. 1, 2, ready? Read. Okay, very good. Case study is a documented study of a particular person, group, institution, or event. To be more particular, case study, if you want to focus on a particular type of case or certain phenomenon, you're going to study, and that is known as the case study. For example, we have the teenage pregnancy. Okay, teenage pregnancy. The case study is applicable also in the field of business, no? So the advantages and disadvantages focus on person or group. Then the second is difficulty in the operation of the person in the group that you are investigating. For example, in case study that you are interested for the physical abuse of this child. Why is it that this child doesn't respond to anyone? He or she has a poor self-esteem. You may think of another way around. Maybe it is his or her own personality. But with a case study, you are gathering data on the in-depth or the core reason. Why is it that this child doesn't respond to the normal child development that we have? Okay? So another one. Examples of research titles under the case study. Internationalizing Basic Education Curriculum, a Philippine case study. Diba? That is to adapt or to learn how the system of education works in our country. The second one is school viability, a case study of Victoria High School in Manila, an exclusive high school in Manila for the most elite or the elite one. No? The third is entrepreneurial university, a case study of De La Salle Araneta University, Philippines, specializes in the field of business. Last one is team effectiveness in the academic school organization, a multiple case study. So, in case study, it is not yet more focused on one person, but it can also utilize or use in the one group, one organization, or one institution in order to finalize or determine a certain phenomenon. To learn more on the phenomenon, maximize the learnings on the phenomenon. Okay. The grounded theory. The grounded theory support one approach that generates and moderates a theory. There are two types of grounded theory, namely as substantive grounded theory and the formal grounded theory. Okay, so in the formal grounded theory, it is more abstract level of thinking. For example, you want to study the postpartum depression, how a certain woman developed a postpartum depression. Are you particular with son? Right. The postpartum depression, it works with what? Yes? Miss Bandibas? Okay, that's good. The postpartum depression, it works with the 20th week's gestation, or 20th week of the gestation of the mother. They earn or develop this one, no, due to the high or influx of the hormones of the mother, wherein they tend to neglect or some ambivalent state of feelings. It is a biological state, no, due to the drop of the acetylcholine or the drop of the norepinephrine and the increase of the progesterone and any other female hormonal imbalances. So the second type of grounded theory is known as the substantive grounded theory. So you can have the specific content or topic based on the theory that you want to study. Okay. Next, we have the advantages and the disadvantages of grounded theory. Okay, all together please. 1, 2, ready, read. Next, examples of research titles under the grounded theory: the perceptions of Filipino women and men on an intimate partner violence. Have you seen this one? Okay, so based on this research title, we learn that this is an example of the grounded theory. Why is it that this is based on a grounded theory? Because Because we all know that the Philippine Constitution in our Philippines defended the rights of everyone, equal rights of everyone. But to be more exact, that the females under this research title is being given subdue respect, no? Under the revised the Republic Act 9173, or also known as Violence Against Children and Women, no? Or the VAUC, wherein the female or any other person has given the right that they are protected against violence in any forms, emotional, psychological, physical, or sexual aspect, no, of violence. The second one is becoming selfless, grounded theory of commitment to service. Then we have the third one. Can you read this, Miss Asuncion? How about the third one? Okay, so that is, sorry for interrupting you. When we have that, we have a person, from a person to a father, a grounded theory of male gender identity formation. So they utilize the term, or use the term gender rather than use the term sex, because sex refers to the biological state of well-being, while the gender refers to the preference, no? The preference of one's individual in terms of her own preference of mating or relationship or commitment. So becoming selfless, no? So that we have the grounded theory of commitment to service, and we have the person to gender identity formation. Last one is investigating food development in an area of the Philippines. An explorative study using a grounded theory. Narrative inquiry includes stories that reflect on people's experiences. By the way, narrative inquiry and case study is quite confusing. They might interchange or they might cross with one another in terms of its scope. But to be more exact, narrative inquiry reflects on the people's, again, reflects on the people's, altogether, reflects on the people's experiences and the meaning of this to them. Okay. Example, illness narratives. No? Advantages. Okay. How about disadvantages? Okay. The participants may pick the data. Yes, because the Q is more unsubjective, so they have the right, or without knowing that the researcher is conducting a study, they draw out the fake one or the bogus data because they fake the story. Next, the examples of research title: enhancing the transparency of accounting research, the case of narrative analysis. So in the field of business or in the field of management, business management, no? We're going to analyze the accounting. How does a certain accountant accounts or tally or record every other details in terms of its transaction or any other words. The second one is the narrative research of trail, the values of ambiguity and relationships. No? The third, narrative inquiry approaches to language and literacy research. It's only one example also of this one. How about the last one? Through the looking glass phase, the new ways of knowing a personal research narrative. How does a certain person develop of knowing his or herself? Phenomenology, the last one. At 20th century school of philosophy that rooted in philosophy and psychology. The keyword focuses on the phenomenon, no? Phenomenon, or the lived experiences. Advantages and disadvantages. Examples of research titles, social futures of global climate. A, structural phenomenology, the importance of feeling awkward, and the ideological narrative phenomenology of socially awkward situations. Have you experienced this one? That sometimes you are confident enough, but all of a sudden you think that you are less fortunate. You tend that you experience that you are awkward in this kind of situation because you are incapacitated of doing such thing in this podium or certain group. Next third is social responsibility, a phenomenology of perceived successful student leadership experience. Lastly, emotions in the flesh, a phenomenology of emotions in the lived body. Sometimes with a small touch, with a small embrace, with a small hug, we feel the urge of our flesh. We feel the urge of the human body biologically state that our hormones, in specifically in males, the testosterone hormones will try to increase in their body and they experience now the increase in libido or sometimes they have their erection. Again, please don't laugh. This is a part of normal growing up of a normal adolescent of a person we had. How about the girls? Sometimes their estrogen or progesterone might increase. To be more specifically in progesterone for the females that is lactating, no, or they have the conception. For the adolescent one, the non-pregnant one, they have the estrogen. With a small hug, with a small touch, they feel the urge or the libido of their own flesh. They develop the tingling sensation of their nipple in their breast. No? With a small caress, they feel the excitement, no? Until such time that they develop their, they gave up everything and all of that. So that is a normal growing up. So how are certain emotions being developed? It is not more psychological, but it's more on biological aspect. No? Okay. Values integration. Is there any other questions pertaining to the different types of qualitative research design? None? Okay, since none, let us recap the different types of qualitative research design. What are they? One, yes, ethnography. The second one, historical research. Third, case study. Another one, phenomenology. The last one, narrative inquiry. In any order, yes, you may have the different types of qualitative research design. No? The first, ethnography, culture. Second, historical, past events. Third, grounded theory, in order to develop a certain theory. So grounded theory that is more focused on a certain belief, facts, no? Facts or evidences. How about the narrative inquiry? The experiences of a certain people experiencing a certain phenomenon and how they live, how they experience or interpret them based on themselves. How about the phenomenology? The lived experiences, no, of a certain individual. Values integration. Family is the basic unit of society. We all know that one. Every family is diverse and composed of indigenous people. Does indigenous people have rights in our society? Yes. Because we all believe that every people or individual is unique. What must the researcher do in order to be culturally sensitive in conducting a study? Sometimes the researcher tend to neglect this concept because they want to drag or to draw out a certain data, but they tend to neglect that these respondents or these participants have their own rights. Diba? Okay. How about the considerations? So to answer this one, let me call on, yes, Ms. Dagpin. The first question, please.
And for the second question, I may call on Mr. Baid to answer the values integration second question. Okay, Mr. Baid, thank you. Thank you for your wonderful answer. A round of applause, please. Now, let us proceed with the elaboration. For our elaboration, the learners will perform the following activities based on the concepts of choosing an appropriate qualitative research design. Group number one, make a 2 minutes audio chant explaining qualitative research design. Group number two, show a 2 minutes newscasting examining qualitative research design. Group number three, make an electronic poster choosing a qualitative research design. Instructions for group activity. Group number one, rather for the group Group the students into three groups, give the instructions for the activity, let the students perform the activity. And for the rubrics criteria for assessment, originality,
And
creativity or
for your
resourcefulness,
evaluation, kindly
teamwork,
get a one half
timeliness.
sheet of paper.
We have 5 points as the greatest points. Show is unique, does not look like others, shows creativity that works, it does not just work but exciting and fresh. All members work well together all of the time, assist others when needed, completes assigned required work during time. Rating scale 8 to 10, outstanding 5 to 7, very satisfactory, 1 to 4, fair.
Direction: write the letter of the correct answer. Number 1. What is a qualitative research method that aims to get a holistic picture of a specific group, society, institution, or any situation? Letter A. Historical research. Letter B. Ethnographic research. Letter C. Case study. Letter D. Ethnography. Number 2. All of the following are qualitative research design except A. Clinical trial, B. Historical research, C. Case study, or D. Ethnography. Number 3. Which type of qualitative research design is a 20th century philosophical movement dedicated to describing the structure of experience as they present themselves to consciousness without resource to theory and assumptions from other disciplines? Letter A. Case study. Letter B. Ethnography. Letter C. Phenomenology. Or letter D. Historical research. Number 4. Why do a qualitative researcher need to conduct a historical research? Letter A. To elicit shared themes and variations. Letter B. To draw the essence of phenomenon by remaining open to meanings attributed by the people experiencing. Letter C. To determine how individuals make sense of events in their lives. Or letter D. To realize the event happened in the past in order to come up the best decision in the present. Number 5. How does a researcher choose an appropriate research design? Letter A. Research question, method of data collection, collection tools, data analysis. Letter B. Review of related literature, method of data collection, collection tools, data analysis. Letter C. Research question, research problem, collection tools, data analysis. Letter D. Review of related literature, scope and limitation, collection tools, and data analysis.
Now, are you done? Uh-huh. Okay. Let us exchange your paper to the nearest seatmate. Let's evaluate your answer. Okay. What do you think is the correct answer for number 1, Miss Baib? Correct answer is letter B. Number 2, Mr. Muller. Letter A. Number 3, what do you think, Miss Puyat? Letter C. Okay, how about number 4? Letter D. Last one, Mr. Enojardo. The correct answer is letter A. Let us give everybody a round of applause for the correct answer. Who got the perfect score? Can you raise your right hand? Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 33. There are 29. Okay. The rest, how about 4? Okay. How about 3? Only a few. So majority got the correct answer. Okay. Thank you.
For your assignment, make a 2 minutes video presentation choosing a qualitative research design.